are going to be a part of the end of the war in the Pacific. But you can't end the war in the Pacific unless you first start the aircraft. This is only one of two that's starting up. The one that's on the jumbotron. Jets are taking off. Jet noise at the end of the 1940s was very rare, but it was very distinct as well from the pitching power. North America's first entrance into the fighter arena was the adversary of this airplane. That was the MiG-17 with the afterburner capability. You see that raw flame coming out the back? A 45-degree wing sweepback. The MiG aircraft that we bought in Vietnam was preceded by the aircraft that fought in Korea, and that was the MiG-15, mostly fighting against our North American F-18. Both were swept-wing design. Coincidentally, both were designed from captured German aeronautical data at the end of World War II, which clearly puts the difference in the swept-wing design of an aircraft, especially a jet. Now, in front of you, the small airplanes that you see were used in different campaigns to be able to thwart the enemy, to be spotter aircraft, to be observation aircraft, to be hospital ships, to be liaison, and many other jobs. Now, they're not big, they're not fast, but they were feared by the enemy. And why were they feared? Why these little military Piper Cubs and Tailorcraft and Stinsons? Why would you be afraid of an aircraft like that? Because they were spotter aircraft. If they spotted you on the ground and you're the enemy, you knew that the heavy iron was coming in, or from offshore, you knew the artillery from the Navy was going to come in and obliterate your position. They said we were more afraid of those little tiny observation aircraft than we were of anything else. Once you were spotted, you knew the end was in sight. L-39 coming in from your right to your left with a smoke on. A Russian jet built by the known as the L-39 Albatross. The fall of the USSR, those airplanes were made available in the U.S. And our pilots, our Warbird pilots, gravitated to this jet for so many reasons. One was they had the speed, they had parts, they were rebuilt, they were pressurized, they had range, they were aerobatic. Many civilian aerobatic teams in the U.S. and around the world have used the L-39 as their formation airplane just for that reason. You will see tip tanks on those aircraft that extends the range of that aircraft. So the B-29, only one of two, docked on the throat of the square, has started their engines. That's an elaborate process. The small airplanes that created so much devastation to the enemy, even more so than a fighter, are circling out in front of us. And by the way, just some of the jobs of the military version of the docile J-3 Cub, of which 5,250 were built, more than any other of the non-traditional aircraft in World War II. They provided close air support, medical airlift of critically wounded soldiers. T-28 passing overhead in the dining position, and then in this position, flying the trail. They did town with the military Piper Cubs. They did photo recon. They buried saboteurs in the spies of the line. They transported the generals from A to B in the combat zone. They did delivery of battle plans to the front lines. They rescued downed pilots. And in some cases, bazookas were attached to the strut of these aircraft, and they went off as tank busters, eliminating the German military tanks from the air with a bazooka strapped on the struts of a Piper Cub, or as it was known, the L4. Then they put 2 on each side, and then Bazooka Charlie Carpenter put 3 on each side and destroyed the enemy's Panzer tanks in the battle. down low. The B-29, one of only two of almost 4,000 that were built. They call this one Doc. It's back to the right. Later on, it will complete its mission over this field and will take you back to 1945 in the Pacific. Airplane just in front of you was the trainer built by the Lockheed Company, known as the T-33. See that airplane with the square box in the tail? That was a Cessna airplane, 337 they call it, for the O2A and O2B. They had flares and rockets underneath the wings, the military version, and they would mark the spot where the enemy was. There's a great movie by the name of Bat 2-1. Gene Hackman was in that, and it's based on a real rescue in Vietnam. Later they bought some civilian models and used them in Vietnam with loudspeakers to transmit propaganda down to the ground and to drop leaflets.
All right, we'll have more when Doc comes.